Forex Fortune Hunters, Tom Wilmot. It's been a crazy week for the pound. I'm recording this on the 15th of October, pretty close to the Brexit deadline, and the action has been fast and furious. If you'd like to see how to collect all those pips with this volatility, hang on to your hat. We'll get started right after this. Okay, fortune hunters, let's take a look at the pound-yen chart and see what's happened to the pound over the last 3 or 4 days now that we've been involved with some final deliberations about Brexit. The first indication that maybe there was going to be some progress here between Boris Johnson and the world was when he met with the Irish Prime Minister, and those talks seem to have gone quite well. So as a result, price action took off to the north for the pound, and the action was, as I said, fast and furious. Now, what we're going to do in this video, because I really want you to understand that the different templates I use are really not that different in terms of the way they track price volatility in the marketplace. They are mostly different visually, just so that people who are more attuned to wider bands or more bands will have a chance at that, and those that just want a straight shot through the trend magic or the chandelier will have that alternative. But we'll take a look here over the last couple of days and see how the 2 or 3 different templates haven't really changed the entries or the opportunity. Okay, let's start back with our double whammy, which is trend magic, this white line here, and the chandelier stop, which is this line here. And notice that as we came into the Sunday night overnight period, this was after the 11th Friday, we had a change over here, and in fact we went to all red on a 30-minute chart. Now I like to use the 30-minute to start out with some of the time in order that I make sure I'm not getting whipsawed by changes in this volatile marketplace. You could drop down to a 5 or even a 1 for some scalping opportunities if the time of day is correct. But in any event, let's start with our 30 here. Once again, we see on the Sunday night overnight period, which is are these 2 lines, these 2 dotted vertical lines. This would have been 5 o'clock Boston time, that we did have a down trend. It became apparent to some that maybe the talks hadn't gone well, or there was going to be some last-minute finagling, and there still may be some last-minute trouble. But in any event, on Monday late, especially in the Asian session, we had this move down, a little bit of a pullback, then in London, some confirmation that it was a move to the downside. But quite frankly, if we look back here and we take a look at the change from Friday, we'll see that if we were to use our Fibonacci's, which we haven't really done much in this environment, here's the big swing. Notice that we just came down in this area to the 38 pullback. So that's really not enough to get hysterical about. You could scalp this for sure if you were in the late evening Boston time and into the London session, but with this downtrend here. But still in all, you have to expect that after this explosive move to the north with only a 38% pullback, that you're not really going to get a rollover of this particular pair. Now we get a confirmation here that things are changing. These 2 lines here are on my sessions indicator, which is also included in the free indicators package on Dropbox. I'll be happy to share with you. This would represent 7 in the morning New York time, and then 9:30, which is of course the opening of the stock market. And you can see here that we had a move up in the 7 o'clock hour, and then we had a pullback, but we held firm. We did hold on to this area with a red just a little bit, but then it changed back and we had a move to the upside. Now, typically also as we moved into Tuesday, which was this morning, we had some Asian session, we had some back and forth, and then we had another explosive move higher. Now, I'm not suggesting that you could trade this one, for example. This was just up, up, and away. Unless we were to drop down to a lower time frame, let's see how that works. 5-minute chart, and we'll let it go from there. And here we are over in this session. There's our Sunday night on a 5-minute chart. This is our pullback. Then we had a nice move here. This was yesterday on the 14th, Columbus Day. And then we had our move into the overnight session and pretty much chopped during the Asian session here until we got to London, and then we had some up and down and up and down, and then another confirmation that perhaps there was going to be progress in the talks with Europe, and that came out early in the morning New York time for our session. Once again here, 7 a.m. Eastern and 9:30 a.m. Eastern, and then a blast off here. But you can see even with the news-related move, there really wasn't much of an entry at this particular moment in time. Okay, now what we're going to do is go back to our 30. We're going to back up a little bit here, and we're going to take off our Fibonacci's just for the time being. And by the way, that area is right here if you want to try your Fibonacci retracements. And I add some lines on that, and I've got another video about that somewhere. We won't get into it today. Notice that it was, in fact, Thursday and Friday of last week that the biggest piece of this really came true. We had flat throughout the London session, the Asian session, and into the U.S. session, and then it was up and away. Notice that at the end of the day, we had this time of consolidation, a little bit of an uptick in the Asian session, and then this pullback, and we were off to the races. Now, once again, if you were to take this, and let's take a line here, we'd see about this. We'll put our line there to keep track of where we are on the time scales. We'll come over to this way. And here we are. Notice that we did have a nice entry between the London Open and the New York Open with this pullback to the chandelier here in this place. So if you're up early in the morning East Coast time, this was a nice move already. 127 pips just in that one place. Then another kind of a move here as we moved into the New York Stock Exchange, and then it kind of flattened out because the big move of the day was over. Okay, back to the 30. Now what we'd like to do is switch this out a little bit. I'm going to go back over here, and we're going to go to our new GMA. So you'll see what the difference is. Now here I've actually added a number of moving averages. This is the long GMA that you'll find in your drop-down menu from the insert indicators. For most of the brokers will offer long and short GMA. And then we've added our 12 down to the 24 EMA. Notice here we had a great opportunity with this pull back into the bands and then an up thrust. And this move in this particular template is easier to see and maybe get on board with, noticing that your pullback here would be in the neighborhood of 92 pips, but on the upside. 312 pips last Friday afternoon and into the session. So when you've got that kind of a pullback and that kind of a potential 92 pip candle, you're going to want to drop down to lower time frames and see how well that would work. Okay, then the third of our templates, let's see if we can get into yet a third one, and we'll see about that. I like this blaster one that I have also. It's the same kind of thing where you simply have added the trend magic into your long GMA, multiple moving averages, a blast off. Notice you would have had an up moving set of moving averages. You take the Zeelander fly trap signal line, you wait for the arrow till the 12 crosses over, and then boom, you're off to the races. We have a consolidation here, and then a much appreciated move higher. Likewise, this is what happened to us here in the Monday session on this 30-minute time frame. I hope that comparison helps you. Please like our videos if these are helpful to you. Don't hesitate to scoot over to fxfortunehunter.com if you'd like some of these free indicators and templates that I have for you in a download opportunity on Dropbox. And leave a comment if you'd like to have another pair investigated, or tell us what your questions might be for an upcoming video. Once again, Thanks for watching, and let's get some pips.